Subscribe right now and hit the bell. Then you won't miss a chapter. And give the show a like. Comment with any thoughts and questions, and I will be happy to chat with you. Thanks for helping out this independent author.
Genius, 7th grade. Josh set his pencil down and took a deep breath. He ran his dark-skinned hands through his even darker hair as he slouched low in his creaky school chair. He glanced at the time on the new wrist phone that Dad had given him, even though he really didn't need to. Then, remembering that smart devices were not allowed, he quietly slipped it off and jammed it in his pocket. It was only 8:20 in the morning, and unlike the others, his year in mathematics test was already finished. Josh loved math. He loved its clarity and its black and white truth. Now this was the test he had been looking forward to all year, and sadly it was over so quickly and easily. What are they all thinking so hard about? He thought as he looked around the room full of furiously hardworking kids. Yet he knew that this was the tough one, and no one else would be done for at least another 20 minutes. But he had to act like he was still working, otherwise all the other kids would hate him even more. Josh knew he would get another perfect score, and even though this was a school for the gifted, it still had its fair share of teasing and bullying. Although he had to admit this was all way better than the last school he attended. Man, was I bored there, he remembered. Plus, he didn't get beat up anymore. Leaving the countryside and beginning his first year of middle school in Santa Cruz, California was hard at first, but he did not miss that old school at all. What a bunch of small-minded brutes. He winced as all the beatings flooded his mind, but Mama had always been surprised at how quickly he could heal. Josh thought, super fast healing is a good superpower to have, but it would be way better to not get beat up in the first place. If only I had super strength and retractable claws, too. Josh, exclaimed Mr. M, as he preferred to be called, and following with his light-hearted casual tone. Are you done yet? Everyone else has pencils down, he stated with a little smirk in his dark and slightly bearded face that now had traces of silver in it. Apparently, quite some time had passed while he was lost in thought. Oh, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I was just going over my final answers again, Josh stammered, not all too convincingly. Wonderful, said Mr. M jovially. And since the time is up, you can all stack your tests on my desk. Come up, front row first as usual. Then he said in his own quirky, humorous way, have a super fantastically beautiful weekend, everyone. Josh followed the line of excitedly jabbering students to the desk at the front of the room. He set his test down next to the name plaque that read Dr. Selden McClure and began to walk out. Then Mr. M said, Hey, Josh, just wait here for a second until I finish saying goodbye to everyone. Sure thing. Yes, sir, Josh corrected. Josh, like many of his classmates, completely respected and sort of idolized Mr. M. He thought he was an awesome math teacher, and he was suspected to be a genius on some level. Mr. M periodically consulted for NASA as well as a few tech companies for extra cool work, supposedly some robotics and artificial intelligence stuff too. Plus, he was so casual and chill, despite all of his accomplishments. Mainly, though, it was the confidence. He was just emanating confidence, and Josh wanted to be just like him someday. He could easily imagine it too, as they both loved math and had similar physical features. McClure might have been Middle Eastern or Indian maybe, but Josh wasn't really sure. As the last kid zipped out of the room, Mr. M turned to Josh and said with his signature smile that showed he knew more than he was letting on, Now that everyone is gone, how did it go for you this morning? I know you were the first one done again because you didn't even look at your test after the first 20 minutes. Josh knew he was caught. He smiled big and said, Yes, sir, I know, but I just can't let everyone else know how easy math is for me. It's like I already know it all, but don't realize I know it until you teach it to me or I read it. Then it all just clicks instantly. Dropping his tone, he breathed, They say I mess up the grading curves for them and make them look stupid. I'm pretty sure they hate me, Mr. M. McClure looked at Josh with empathy as he put a hand on his shoulder. He said, Josh, never be ashamed of being the smartest one in the room. When others treat you poorly, you must understand they have their own struggles they are trying to deal with. Plus, he paused with a high note, there are those that will be drawn to the real you, but they never will if you hide who you are. Yeah, Josh quietly said. I never thought about it like that. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Mr. M. My pleasure, said McClure, and he stuck out his hand as he smiled again. Josh stood tall and shook it firmly. Then he took off and began to bounce out the door. I'll see you Monday, Mr. M. Have a super fantastically beautiful weekend, he shouted back half sarcastically.
Be sure to share the show with friends and write an Amazon review. Get the entire audiobook right now. Go to sa.vanderwerf.com to get it at an extremely discounted price. To receive the free ebook and my wallpaper book cover image, just sign up for the newsletter at sa.vanderwerf.com. Then you can be notified for the release of the anticipated sequel to The Man Who Made Himself. Thanks so much and enjoy the gifts.